Welcome or welcome back to Pewdiepie. I'm Zui and I hope you enjoyed today's video. But before we get right into it, I'm obligated to remind you to click either the like or dislike button, commenting something down below, and of course sharing the video so more people can see and enjoy it. This is very important as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I want you to know that your help is greatly appreciated. If you have any suggestions or ideas for a story, my Discord link is in my link tree that is down in the description, as well as my Patreon and Ko-fi for any donations you may want to send my way. Every cent counts. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Last night had been terrible. The wind outside your window had been howling. Of course, you knew a storm was coming, you just didn't think it would last until deep into the night. Rain had been pounding against your windows, shaking the walls of your house. And the tree in your front yard kept knocking on the windows of your living room. Many people would consider weather such as this adventurous, fun, maybe even calming. But you were a little, say, special. You needed silence to sleep. And a house that moaned and groaned against a storm was just way too loud. You tried many things that night. Warm milk, counting sheep, playing an audiobook from your laptop. Nothing worked. Nothing kept you quiet enough. And then thunder and lightning joined the battle. This all wouldn't have been so terrible if it hadn't been for your job. You worked at Boys and Grills, a local family-run fast food locale, being employed as its cleaning staff. Up until now you had maintained a perfect schedule, always arriving on time, refreshed enough from sleep to tackle the day and to take it for all it's worth. It wasn't that you were a workaholic, more a life lesson you had gotten from your father when you were still going to school. The man just loved ripping out entire pages from your homework sheets, telling you to redo them. The goal being to do it right the first time. So you don't have to redo it again or fix it later. This work ethic had been burned into your brain. To the owners of Boys and Grills, this just meant that you worked twice as diligent as any other. Making your boss happy was your top priority. So when the morning light shined through your bedroom window, you couldn't help but yawn in self-loathing. It was an overreaction to just one night of no proper sleep. Sure it was, but knowing that didn't make it better. Uncomfortably, you lifted yourself out of your bed, shedding your blanket before vigorously rubbing your face to get your blood pumping. You then jumped out of the bed, beelining it to your bathroom for a cold shower to wake you up properly. But once again, all the rituals in the world couldn't fix your tiredness. And when you made your way to work, well, of course, the cleaning staff needed to be here from opening till closing with only 2 hours of break time between the hours of 12 PM to 1 PM, and then later in the evening from 5 PM to 6 PM. But once you arrived at Boys and Grills, the chef, Bob Wellsep, immediately noticed something was off with you. As both of you and him were dedicated to morning prep work. Him chopping and mincing fresh meat in the kitchen while you cleaned, took inventory, and ordered things for the restaurant. As you were slowly mopping the floors, he looked at you through the open window separating the kitchen from the main area. Bob was thinking, trying to figure out what was wrong with this picture. To him, he just saw a person work, and that's when a thought appeared in the man's head. He was watching a person work, a tired person, anyone else work, but it wasn't you.
Or at least that's how it felt like. Bob leaned over the counter and grinned. Hey kiddo. He always called you that, thanks to your small stature. At least he didn't call you a cleaning goblin like your boss did. However, you were too focused on your work to hear him. There was a stain on the ground you couldn't get rid of. And with half-lit eyes, you turned around and walked into the kitchen, where Bob started following you. You opened the janitorial closet and took out bleach. It was then Bob grabbed your wrist tightly. And what do you think you're doing? Cleaning? You muttered, tired. Yes, but that's bleach. I can't get rid of a stain, I need bleach. Just let me ask you something, kiddo. What did you use to clean the floors until now? And what did you put in your cleaning water? You blinked and looked at the bottle. I used Norwell's Clean Cleaner for clean people and businesses. Mm-hmm. And? You looked up at the cook. Bob was wearing the regular Boys and Girls uniform, his white apron stained with the blood from the fresh meat he was cutting. Norwell's miracle ammonia-based formula will leave your floor stain-free in just a single swipe. When you think of dirty floors, think of Norwell and everything will be okay. Bob recited the company's ad jingle. Once again, you just blinked, tired. Bob sighed, letting go of your wrist, while in the same motion grabbing your bleach. Hey, I need that. Oh no you don't. You do not need this. He stomped past you, throwing the bleach back into the closet. He was mad, but not violently so. Are you awake enough to answer a question? What happens when you mix bleach with ammonia? What happens when you mix bleach with ammonia? Come on. This is Chemistry Class 101. Also, you were the one actually telling me this a month ago. Without warning, you fell forward. You had been a little wobbly in your steps the entire morning. Whoa! You landed face first in his big old tummy. His large soft hands took hold of your back. Did you sleep at all last night? No, why do you ask? You muffled into his chest. Because that would explain why you almost turned the restaurant into a gas chamber. Gas chamber? You looked up into Bob's concerned face. I get self-deletion, occasionally, but why did you have to take me out too? Wait. Oh! As the realization hit you, he could read your face. Clear as day. Oh my god. I think you should go home. Am I fired? No? Bob was confused. You're really the only worker who gives a single hoot about working here. You're going to get fired for one mistake. That technically didn't even happen. Sighing, you pressed your face back onto his warm belly. But you can't work tired here. You work tired too? I mean, sure, but... When I'm tired, I make crude jokes and talk about video games like... with the confidence of someone who actually lived through the events of them. You, on the other hand, almost game-ended yourself. And me. And everybody entering this establishment. Crap. But... Without warning, Bob grabbed you by the hip, throwing you on his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. You blinked surprised. His grip was secure. You couldn't budge on his shoulder. Wow, do you do this often? Bob blinked. What do you mean? Nothing. Bob carried you into the tiny employee break room, It was really just a big closet with a couch and a fan and a very small TV in it. He gently sat you down on the couch, in a lying position. Throwing his big coat on you, he then left without saying another word. Inside the room it was warm, yet it smelled a bit damp. Yet Bob's smell from the coat was overpowering it. Since it was right in the center of the building, more or less, the remains of the storm outside and even the noises of the burger place itself were so muted that you may actually could fall asleep here. As you closed your eyes, Bob was shaking his head behind the door. Just one sleepless night and you already were this useless. How cute. Not many hours passed, though, until you were awoken, more by your guilt of being unable to do your job, rather than actually being awake and refreshed. Though that changed over time as you fell back asleep, over and over, and by the time the restaurant closed, you had slept for about 8 hours, which was the perfect amount. Not even looking at the clock, you stretched with a smile, feeling good. You opened the door, expecting to almost have a mop flung at you to get to cleaning, but no. The dining room lights were off, and only one person remained. Bob. He was chopping meat. Hey, you yawned. Morning, sunshine, he chuckled. He looked through the window. It's night, huh? We closed a couple minutes ago. Yes. And what are you still doing here? He was quiet for a few seconds, thinking, staring at his meat, unsure of what to say. Well, at Boys and Grills, we are very proud on how fresh our meat is. Basically, I'm doing morning prep before the morning prep, just to save some time. Yeah. Oh, you're such a diligent worker, bee. He looked at you with a smug grin. Says the tiniest adult I've ever seen. Kiddo. You smirked and gave him an innocent expression. You're full of energy, aren't you? You shrugged. I just spent the entire day sleeping. I feel pretty energized. He rammed his knife into the wooden cutting board, shoving the meat into a plastic bag before carrying it to the freezer. Well, ain't that a shame? He chuckled. And what are you going to do about it? I don't know, you said innocently. But your heart jumped at the mere thought of it. I need to let out all of that energy. Bob's eyes narrowed, almost seductively so. Oh, really? And what can I do to help you with that? You clung to his hip, cycling a finger on his chest lewdly. Any ideas? A few. But most of them I wouldn't want to do here. How about my place then? Bob's smile widened. Oh, yeah, that can work just fine. He then lifted you up, like a child, his hand on your butt. You've wrapped your arms around his head, before giving him a genuine kiss on the mouth. Bob smelled like cooked beef, and his lips were soft, almost gentle. And only for a hot moment, your tongues intertwined, before you removed your head with a very lewd expression and a loud pop. I want you to pump me onto a Tuesday morning. Well, order up then.